Welcome to part 2 of lesson 5.2. We were just finishing up this last proof. We have currently gotten to the position where we've managed to prove that these two angles, there and there, are congruent because they're both they're equal because they're both 90 degrees. Now I just need to say that they're congruent because they're equal. So angle FIG is congruent to angle HIG by the definition of congruent. Okay. Now coming back up here, when we were looking at this diagram before, we were able to say that GI on the two redrawn triangles, GI has to be congruent to itself because it's the same segment. But how do I show that on a proof is the question. Well, first of all, I can write that GI is congruent to GI because that's true. The segment's congruent to itself. Now, we learned a property for this back in the very beginning of the proof section in Unit 2 that we haven't yet really used before. And that's the reflexive property, because everybody was wondering, why on earth is this a thing? It's a thing for geometric proofs when the proofs share something. Okay, lovely. So GI is congruent to GI. Now let's go through and see what pieces of the triangle we've managed to prove congruent. GI is a side. FIG and HIG are both angles. And FI is congruent to IH, that's a side. Question is, do we have SAS, the angle between the two sides? Well, looking at this, my 90-degree angle touches both of the sides I've already marked as congruent. So this is SAS. So therefore, triangle FIG is congruent to triangle HIG by SAS. Side angle, side, and done. All right, I want you now go back and check your work on these remaining triangles here. I'll put the answers up now for you to see. There was a small error with the question, I just realized. The given on this should have read angle R is congruent to angle O, rather than angle P. Otherwise, it would make no sense. But here's the solution with the corrected answer. And last but not least, this one's a little bit different. It's not a segment they have in common, it's an angle. Angle T is on both of the triangles in its same shape and form. So my overlap on this one is angle T, making these two triangles congruent by ASA. Thank you very much.